Good evening, you guys. Welcome back to the Humble Homestead. Today we are going to go over making homemade ham base. So I had a couple of leftover ham bones from Easter, and I don't really have a ton of room in the freezer right now because it's full of everything else. So I decided to go ahead and put them straight into the roaster. So as you can see, there is, and I'll get it all out in a minute, but there's a couple of big ham bones in there. And I just wanted to kind of show you how I did it. Now this cooked for about 48 hours. I filled up the roaster, put the ham bones in there, filled it with water. The garlic cloves, I don't know if it'll be able to, they look like jellyfish. They're like, you see it? Anyways, I'm easily entertained. I did it at about 250 for 36 hours or so, and then this morning I turned it down to like a keep warm status. I actually was going to do this morning, but I ended up not. So first we're just going to shuffle out all of the big stuff. Okay, so as you can see, I'm not sure if I talked about what I put in there, but I have some carrots, some celery, some onions, some garlic. This is our beautiful caramel colored broth. I just got most of the big stuff out. Okay, so I'll save all that big stuff for the chickens. I'll just feed it. You could like pick off some of the meat and save it, but I still have so much meat. Like, we have a big family Easter and I did 2 hams, so there was a lot of extra meat. I have my big, this is actually my water bath canner, and then I just have a strainer in it. I'm gonna use like my 2-cup measuring cup, and we'll just strain it through like so. And I'm sure it's gonna take a while. So I didn't use a ton of extra veggies in the ham broth. I've done chicken stock, and I usually, like, I save all my scraps in the freezer, and maybe next time when I do chicken stock I will do another video. Pretty much the same. I almost lost my funnel here, or my strainer. It like moved. It's pretty much the same concept. You know, I save a couple of chicken carcasses, and then I usually add a lot more vegetables for that bone broth. But I save in the freezer. Anytime I chop up vegetables, or if celery is like about to go bad, I just chop it up just loosely, like not real small, and stick it in the freezer. Anytime I use onion for something, I save like the ends and the skin. Like the skin is what gives your broth that nice caramel color. So as you can see, I'm just pouring it in here. And you technically, I wanted to do this tonight because you technically can this hot, like you can do a hot pack, but I want to let the, oh, I missed a bone. I want to let the fat rise to the top so I can skim it off in the morning. 1, it'll make it a little less fattening. For 2, based on the tutorials that I read, it's better if you run a lesser risk of a failure rate when pressure canning if you remove some of that fat. That way it doesn't like expand and then cause like a seal failure is what I'm referring to. Alright guys, look at all that. This is, I mean, it's coming to about right here on my water bath canner. That's pretty full. So it's still pretty warm. What I'm gonna do is put a cover on it, I would say put it in the refrigerator, but I don't have a refrigerator big enough to hold this pot. Well, I guess I could put it in the garage refrigerator. But the nice thing about living in Michigan and the weather not being able to make up its mind is that it's still pretty chilly tonight. So I will probably, we have a breezeway, like a foyer breezeway, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably just stick it out there. It's cold enough, but it's also protected from like the elements and outside animals and stuff. So I'll just put it out there because it'll be cold enough. And then I will cover this and save that for the animals tomorrow. And then we will come back in the morning and skim off the fat, and then we'll can it together. See you in the morning, guys. Guys, welcome back to the Humble Homestead. I said we'd come back in the morning, and it's actually almost noon. Running a little behind this morning. Would you like to come in? Would you like to come in? Come on. Come here. Come here, Nala. Come here. Would you like to say hello? You say hello? Hi. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about this ham base. All of the videos that I watched, like when they left it sit overnight, it had like a thick coating of the fat, and I just have like a little bit. So I mean, I'm gonna skim it off, but I feel kind of like I wasted a whole night to do this. But I mean, I wouldn't have want to stayed up all night anyway. So we'll skim this off and start canning it. Come here. Okay, so there's not really much in here, but I'm gonna scoop out what I can. And I feel like I probably in my nervousness, I kind of skipped over like the instructions of how I really did it. So I just thought maybe I'd go over the recipe again, and I'll put it in the description. I used my big roaster, which if you do any kind of homesteading, I feel like a roaster is definitely a necessity. I use it, I mean, I already had it. We host a lot of family holidays, so that is one tool that I already had. I used two lost my train of thought. You good? I'm using new jars. Back to my train of thought. 2 full ham bones, and there was still meat on them, and I showed you last night I could have taken some of that off, but I just fed it to the chickens this morning. So I added probably what would have been the equivalent of, go get your water, buddy, 3 or 4 stalks of celery, a medium onion. I did add a couple carrots. Most people don't. I just had them in the bag. I did not add any salt. So a lot of people did, but we actually felt like I mean, pork is normally a saltier meat anyways. I'm not sure why. Maybe it probably gets seasoned in the process. Why does ham, pork, like it always comes cooked? Why are those products already like pre-cooked? I mean, I know you can buy like raw pork and pork chops and stuff, but like, why is ham always fully cooked? Anyways, that was a random squirrel thought. And probably about a dozen peppercorns I put in it. I'm never worried about under seasoning because I feel like you could just add your seasoning as you go. Like when you prepare it in your meals. So I am filling my jars to a 1-inch headspace. Can I also say that I actually love when I can cold pack something, because I always feel like when I'm hot packing that I'm like racing against the clock to like make sure that my jars stay a nice warm temperature. and my contents stay a nice warm temperature. So we're gonna fill these up.
Yay.
Guys, I got 12 quarts plus I'm just gonna try an old spaghetti jar, see how that works, and then like a little half pint that I won't stick in the canner. I should be able to fit all of these. I think I have the All-American 920, and I'm pretty sure that it fits 14 quarts. Whoops, maybe 13. Now I can't remember. I think it's 7 on each level because you can double stack. I have a little bowl of white vinegar and I'm wiping all of the rims. Fingertip tight. And for those that are wondering, we wipe the rims with white vinegar to clean off any of the juice, like the broth or the fatty debris, to make sure we get a good clean seal. Let's walk these over and place them in. The funny thing is I have to open this before, I have to pull my stove out for the canner to fit because of the microwave. And I'm always telling Phil that when this microwave dies, I will replace it with shelves because I don't want to be relying on a microwave, and I could definitely use the storage space. No, we're not going to have any marshmallows right now, buddy. Nope. So let's get these stacked in. Interesting fact. It indeed would have enough space to fit a 7th jar, but these are Golden Harvest mason jars, and they're kind of squared and not round. So I'm only going to be able to fit 6 on each level. I'm actually super bummed about that because I was really hoping to test its limits. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I do have 6 in there. And then we'll add the second level. I guess I'll be using up some of this broth soon. We'll be making some ham and potato soup, probably. That's like a family favorite, and we're almost out of soup season, right? So I'll just add that to the menu. I'm just kidding. So I couldn't fit the 7th one down there, but I don't have 14 quart jars. It was a case of 12. So I am still going to be able to fit my smaller spaghetti jar in there. Perfect. Perfect. We can still have ham and potato soup soon. I'm just going to take my leftover vinegar, put that in there. It's not necessary, it just helps your jars to stay clean and not get like that cloudy substance on them. Got the seal on. Tighten these. And then, so we're starting with a cold pot, cold water, cold broth. So I'm going to turn this on and kind of warm it up low and slow until it gets up to a boil. I am still new to canning. especially pressure canning. And it seems as though every time I can, I have a jar bust. Now, I'm gonna debunk the fact that I'm using like recycled jars and all that, because that's what I thought maybe was happening. But today, aside from the spaghetti jar, the other 12 jars are brand new. So, I'm not saying you can't get a faulty jar, but I think, I really think that my issues are user error. So, I'm probably changing temperatures too quickly, or I've tightened my lids. I feel like I have a good grasp on what finger tight is. My headspace is good. I'm just trying to make sure I have this level or like even on the flame. And I just have it at like 5.5 right now. We'll see how it goes, guys. I'll meet you back here when it gets a little warmed up, and we'll talk about how we do that. All right, guys, here's what we've been waiting for. This, it just stopped. This steady stream of steam. Once it starts coming out like steadily, I feel like it takes forever. We're gonna set a timer for 10 minutes, and then we'll put the weight on after that. That's more like it. It's been really coming out now for a good 10 minutes. My altitude calls for 10 pounds of pressure. So I'm gonna put that on. Then we do some more waiting. I have to wait until the gauge gets to 10 pounds of pressure before I start my timer. We will wait until this gauge gets up to 10 pounds of pressure. And then I'm still learning the happy spot on my stove to keep it at that 10 pounds of pressure. Since I did quart jars, we will be pressure canning this for 25 minutes for the broth. And then, so once it reaches the 10 pounds, we'll leave it at 10 pounds for 25 minutes. I will then turn it off, wait until the pressure comes all the way down, take the weight off, wait about 2 more minutes, and then I'll remove the lid. And we'll be back when that happens. Okay, we're at 10 pounds of pressure. Set the timer for 25 minutes. And now I will just continue to watch that, because I have a tendency of it getting too hot. Like I said, I still haven't found my happy medium. Always open it away from you. A little bit of a struggle. It's not enough room for everything. Try to keep them straight. See them bubbling. Ooh, so pretty. Beautiful jars. You can still see them bubbling. Well, guys, I guess that was the start to finish for making ham broth. And I hope that you learned a few things. I'm definitely learning as I go, and I'm so excited that I didn't have any jars break. So these we will let sit for 12 to 24 hours. I'll probably pull them up in the morning. It's about 3 in the afternoon now, but I'll probably leave them until morning, and then I'll take the rings off, wash them off, like wash the jars off, and then put them away. So I'm excited. Thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen today, and until next time, stay humble.